Hi and welcome back to another easy access English video. Today I'm going to be talking to you about numbers. The aim of this video is to be able to pronounce difficult numbers in English and to learn new vocabulary to do with numbers, such as data, rates and results. Numbers are an essential part of our lives, so it's important to learn how to use numbers correctly in English. We use numbers to negotiate prices, to check dates and times, to make meetings and appointments, and to write down phone numbers, just to name a few examples. Most people find four main areas of difficulty when using numbers in English. The first is the pronunciation and understanding of spoken numbers. The second, how to use the 1,000 separator and decimal points. The third is where to say and in numbers. And the last is saying the date. The first thing I'm going to go through with you today is pronunciation of numbers. This can be very stressful, but not if you know where to place the stress. Most numbers have 2 or more syllables in their spoken word. If you have 2 syllables in English in your word, one syllable is going to be more emphasized than the other. Some examples of words that have 2 syllables with their syllabic stress are number, number. This word has 2 syllables. The first syllable is num, and the second syllable is bur. The first syllable has more emphasis than the second syllable, num, bur. A good way for people to see the syllables in words is to place a hand under your chin, and whenever your jaw drops, that is a syllable, num, bur. 2 syllables, 2 times my jaw went down. You can hear the syllabic stress when you say this number slowly and loudly and clearly. Number. My jaw drops lower when I say number. So I can see that this is the syllable that has more stress in this word. It also will come more naturally. The more you use these words and speak these words in English, you'll get into the rhythm and you'll start hearing the syllabic stress more and more. So in this word, the syllable with the most stress is the first one, number. Try saying this word yourself and see if you can hear and say this word with the correct syllabic stress. Another example is the word percent. Percent. Again, this word has 2 syllables, percent. I can see when I use my hand here that the second syllable has the most stress, percent. My jaw drops lower, so I can see that the emphasis is on the second syllable of this word. Not all the words have the same placement of stress, but where you place the stress conveys a lot of information about the word. English natives are really attuned to listening to this syllabic stress just naturally. So it's really important to sound more native and elevated in your English, to see and recognize this syllabic stress, and eventually to start using it in your own language, your own spoken English. This syllabic stress is also true for numbers. For example, the number 30. Again, this number has 2 syllables, 30. I can see that in this number, the first syllable has more stress, 30. My jaw drops twice. We have 2 syllables. It drops further on the first syllable. So the th in this word has more emphasis than the t. You can see with this word why we have the emphasis. having the emphasis on the first syllable conveys that this number is going to be something to do with threes. Th. I hear that straight away. I know we're going to have 3, 300, 30. We know that it's going to be a 3 number. So already I'm understanding. Try and say 30 using this syllabic stress. Another example of a number with the emphasis on the first syllable is 40. 40. 2 syllables, my jaw drops twice, but it drops further on the first syllable, so the emphasis is on the first syllable. 40. Again, this conveys a lot about the number. I know that this number is going to be something to do with fours. 40. So because of this stress, a lot of information is conveyed straight away and very subtly. See if you can practice saying the number 40. See if you can use that syllabic stress, the emphasis on that first syllable, and see if you can hear it. Ask your teacher to say it as well, and see if you can hear it when they say it. There are numbers that have emphasis on the second syllable as well. For example, the number 13. 13. 2 syllables, 13. Emphasis on the second syllable, 13. When written, this has 2 E's at the end of the word, and this really drags out that sound, 13. Because of those 2 E's, the sound is longer, emphasis is drawn to the second syllable in this word. And this also conveys a lot of information. With that emphasis on the teen, my attention is drawn to that section of the word. I know that this number is going to be in my teens. So it's reduced down the numbers it could be. It's in the teens. That is the part that is emphasized and conveys a lot of information about what the number is. Another example, 14. 14. Again, the second syllable has the most stress out of the 2. Now practice saying some of your own numbers and see if you can place the correct syllabic stress on the correct syllable. You could use telephone numbers, street addresses, credit card numbers, etc. to practice saying some different numbers around you. See if you can use a syllabic stress on those numbers. If you're not sure, speak with your teacher and see if they can help you with the right emphasis in the right places. So that video covered the first point of pronunciation of numbers, and the next video where I will look at saying decimals and prices correctly. Welcome back to the second part of this video on numbers with Easy Access English. This time I'm going to be looking at decimal numbers, prices, and using and in numbers. We use and in English to help break up when we speak large numbers. And is only used in numbers above 100. For example, 110. We do not use and in numbers below 100. For example, 75 or 99. We do not use and in these numbers. Whereas numbers above 100, we use and to separate the number, to break it up, to make it easier to understand. Again, an example, 150, 172. And is used after the first digit in every group of 3 numbers. Another example, 155. We have the first digit, 1, which represents 100. We say and the rest of the numbers, 55. 155. So we separate the first digit with the rest. in a group of 3. Again, another example higher up in the hundreds, 300 and 1. 300 and 1. The 3 is the first digit. It is separated from the rest by and. 300 and 1. For numbers in the thousands, we separate the last digit. 1,550. 1,550. 50 is our last digit, so we separate that off. Another example higher up in the thousands, 2,903. 2,903. We separate that last digit with an and. In even larger numbers, we use and to separate the first digit and the last. For example, 726,403. 700, 7 is the first digit, and 26,000. So we've separated that first digit, we put in and, like we do in our hundreds, and then we separate the last digit, 403. So again, 726,403. So for numbers in the hundreds, we separate with and after the first digit. In the thousands, we separate the last digit. And in the larger hundreds of thousands, we separate the first and the last. See if you can now say some large numbers in English with your teacher and use the correct placement of and. When we are talking about decimals in English, we say point. We separate the whole number and the part of the number with a point. For example, 1.5. We have the whole number 1 point, and then we have the part of the number. And we say this with point. 1.5, 2.7, 10.3. Wherever the decimal is, the decimal point, we say point. 10.5. Have a go at saying some decimal numbers now using the English point. For prices in English, we separate our pounds and our pennies. So £26 and 99 pence. £10, 50 pence. Now try saying some prices of things around you, separating the first number, the whole numbers with pounds, and the decimal point numbers with pennies. So the last part of this video on numbers with easy access English is looking at the date. When we speak about the date in English, we use ordinal numbers. Normal numbers that you speak about are cardinal numbers, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are cardinal numbers. Ordinal numbers are just the cardinal number with th on the end. For example, 4th, 5th, 6th. Practice putting your tongue between your teeth to say the th sound. And that is the numbers we use for the dates. For example, today is the 24th. Tomorrow is the 25th. Next week will be the 30th. We say th on the end of our cardinal numbers and it makes them ordinal. Ordinal numbers are the numbers we use for dates. Practice now trying to say some dates, perhaps your birthday or events you've got coming up, using these ordinal numbers. careful of the exceptions. The exceptions are 1. The ordinal number for 1 is first, so the 1st of November, the first day of the week. 2 is second, the 2nd of May, the 2nd week in June. 3, third. The ordinal number for 3 is the 3rd, so the 3rd of July, the 3rd of August. 5th, not pronounced 5th, 5th. The ordinal number for 5 is 5th, the 5th of December, the 5th of January. Practice saying these exemptions and then try and use them for other dates that you have coming up. The last of the exemptions are 8. The ordinal number for 8 is 8th. 8th. There is no extra T. 8th. No, it's 8th. 9. There is no extra E in the ordinal number. So 9, 9th. 9, 9th. The last exemption is 12. 12. The ordinal number is 12th. There is no extra 12. It is not 12th. It is the 12th. The VE disappears. 12, 12th. Again, practice these other exemptions without saying those missing letters. Try and use them in a sentence with those specific dates. The second part of this video on dates is looking at years. When we talk about years in English, we normally read the year in pairs of numbers. So the 4 digits we split into pairs. Do not say and when talking about years. You do not say and, just talk about the numbers in those pairs. When you see a 0 in a year, we say it like O, like the letter. Some examples. 1987. I was born in 1987. We separate 19 and 87, so those 4 numbers we split into pairs. Instead of 1987, we do not say the and we split those numbers into pairs. 1987. An example of using 0 as O, 1709. The war started in 1709. Again, those numbers are split into those pairs, and we pronounce the 0 as O for years. For millennial years, like 1800, we separate it again. We have 18, and then the last zeros are said as 100. The year 1800. The book was written in 1800. The exceptions are the years after the millennium, until 2009, where the year is thousands and includes the and, like 2000 or the year 2002. So from 2000 to 2009, they are the only exceptions where we do say and. For example, I started in 2008. These are the only years we say and. Now practice saying some years that are important to you and see if you can use these exceptions as well to get them into your practice. And thank you for watching this video on numbers. I hope it was useful.